there were people who came along the coastline, and I think they had visions of the Exxon Valdez. The news media here was down at the Mississippi River right after this broke, and they had all their cameras. They were in Venice, Louisiana, and they had all their cameras pointed at the mouth of the Mississippi River. Now, Venice is about 20 miles up the Mississippi River. You can't drive to the actual mouth. You've got to go in a boat. But they had their cameras, and they sat there for 2 weeks waiting for this wave of oil to come in. So they had visions. They wanted to get that action shot. And they became very disappointed when they didn't have this wave of oil coming in. So they have these preconceived visions of the Exxon Valdez, which happened, a couple of miles offshore, just very near to the shoreline. And they had oil being released all at once, coming in on top, going into the very small shoreline. So they had that vision. And they failed to realize, well, this oil spill is a mile below the surface. A lot's happening to that oil. At the closest point of land, it's 50 miles offshore. If you go other places, it's going to be more than 50 miles. The oil's going to be weathered. It's going to be broken up. And so when the first oil that came on was a very light sheen, well, that wasn't their perception, and it wasn't reported as that. So all the fears were reported, and when it was a sheen, not a wave of oil, I didn't see much on the news about that. So people get this preconceived notion, and it's very hard for them to look at evidence and put it in perspective to what their perception is. When we think of the dispersants, the news media have called them toxic dispersants for 2 months. So now when the EPA reports come out and they show that their toxicity tests show that they're practically non-toxic, and that the combination of oil plus dispersants it's the same toxicity as oil by itself, people have a hard time believing that, because their notion is it's toxic, and once the oil and the dispersant mix, it's going to become more toxic. So we have people's notions, and it's very hard for reporters who are not scientists to understand this, so they report in the context of what they know. I will have to say that of the many reporters I've spoken to, the vast majority are trying to get at what are the facts. So I'm not trying to say that the reporters aren't trying to do their job. But nonetheless, I can see statements I made get spun in a very different way than what they were originally intended. And it's because people are trying to put what I say into the context of what they perceive.